And finally now, guys, let's take a look on the 3 new F-18s to see if they are actually worth to get in the British Tech 3. We start off with the most advanced one, the HUG one, right? Which is the F-18A. So indeed, it is still an F-18A, but upgraded with the HUG upgrade, which brings it up to be kind of an A+, almost a C model. So let's take a look, right? From outside, of course, the aircraft is pretty much the same as you would normally think. There are minor differences here and there, but they don't matter too much, and compared to a C, right? What it matters is more inside. We're going to talk about it later, but the weapons, the radar, everything will be pretty much the same as a C model, okay? You can see that the RWR, the radar, they're basically the same. So as you can see, we have the normal modes. This is the APG-73. So this is the one that actually has the upgraded radar, right? You still have your... let me actually use this to show to you guys that you now can use it, right? Look at this. Oh, one more. Yeah, there you go. See? The new mechanic, right? Working. Where's the target? So as you can see, they're just a normal radar that we already know and love. The flares, everything is pretty much the same, apart from one thing that I'm going to show to you guys later. But you can see that the aircraft is very, very similar, okay? Which is expected. And that's why the idea of the video comes, right? Because is it worth to actually get a copy-paste vehicle or not, right? We're going to check it out. So here's the cockpit as well. So you can see a very cool helmet-mounted display. So the vehicle itself is pretty much the same. It has the same gun, same missiles, everything, right? So is it worth to actually get this particular version? I don't know. Why? Because look at this. Look where it is, guys. It is a 14.0, of course, so it is a lower BR than the Typhoon, but you have to grind a lot more in the higher tiers than here. A lot more. Now you will have to grind not only, you know, I mean, you have one last year, but you have two extra, like one extra rank 7, right? And then here you have 2 of them to get to them. So you have basically 2 vehicles in the higher ranks over here to actually grind it out. Of course, like I said, here we have one less, and here one more as well. But at the end of the day, these are less preeminent on the terms of how much RP you need, right? So the top tier one, guys, it's kind of complicated to say, because at the end of the day, I mean, like I said, you still have the APG-73, which is the same radar as the C models. You still have a very similar RWR. You still have the same, you know, the helmet, everything, the gun, the engines. Let me just check if it is the same engine. So it is producing the same power output, but the naming is different. So we're going to wait and see if these power changes. But, you know, so it's pretty much the same as a C model, right? Which is great. This aircraft is pretty great. If you take a look on the pylons and everything lining too, you do have your BOLs, and that's what I wanted to talk about. So you do have the BOLs to carry like a lot more, 640 more countermeasures, which is insane, right? So it does have the BOL, which is something that the normal C models don't have. So you have that going for it, right? It is, you know, still going to be better. I mean, this thing has 120 countermeasures, which is better, the C model, than the normal amount that the C model has, which is like 60, right? So it has twice as much. But in here, you can have the BOL. This is going to be the main difference for now. I don't know if the engine power will change or anything, but this is going to be the main thing. Let me just check, actually, the early model over here. So, yeah, it will probably have this thrust, okay? 72 kilonewtons instead of the 80. I don't know if it got any upgrades on the engine. For now, it is using 80, the same as the 402 version of the 404, right? So, I don't know. Maybe the engine power will change. I don't know, but at least you have a lot more countermeasures. That's what is going for it, because everything else is pretty much the same. So in the terms of air-to-air missiles, you have the AIM-9Ms, AIM-9Ls, M120Bs and Cs, right? The normal, you can still take the 10. For air-to-ground, non-guided stuff, you can have guided stuff with BOLs, which is pretty interesting, like the JDAM over here, paveways, lightning pod in the middle there, of course. So it's not on the side, which is great, because then it doesn't use one of the missile pylons, right? A multitude of JDAMs, as you see, non-guided high drag stuff, napalm, of course. You have Mavericks, the F and E models. You have the laser JDAMs, and of course, even the AGR-20s, which are the new for fixed-wing aircraft, APKWS missiles, right? So as you can see, the pylons, the missiles, everything is pretty much the same as the C model. What it will change is the BOL, and of course, technically maybe less power. I don't know. Let's wait and see. But the question is still there, guys. So it is pretty much the same as the C model. It's a 14.0 vehicle. So is it worth it? Well, in my opinion, no, because the Eurofighter is much better. The Eurofighter is gonna be the main aircraft that you should get, in my opinion. That's just better. It is. In my opinion, it is. It even has a higher BR. So yeah. But if you already have the Eurofighter, then I would say forget about everything else and get the F-18, because it is going to be an amazing ground attacker, and it's just a little bit different. So for the late model, that's it, in my opinion. For the early model of the Australian one, it's a little bit more simple. So again, it's going to be the same engine, the same vehicle, but it does have a different radar because it doesn't have the HUG update. And air-to-ground stuff will be more limited. The missiles will be more limited, of course. We can only use the AIM-7M over here, not the P model, not AIM-120s, obviously, and only the AIM-9L, obviously, right? The cockpit is pretty much the same. It's a little bit bugged, work in progress, right? But as you can see, same good old cockpit. At the end of the day, you know, it is a vehicle that doesn't have the helmet, as you see. So, of course, 12.3, if I'm not mistaken, right? So it's a very low BR, and it is the same as the other vehicle. So this is where we wanted to get, right? The 12.3, in my opinion, you should just jump for it. Because look at this. The 12.3 vehicles that you have in this tech tree are Tornadoes, Harriers, and other Tornadoes in 12.0, 13.0 here. I mean, look at this. The Sea Harrier F-18 is 13.0, which is, of course, it has AIM-120s, but in AIM-9Ms. But this is a very advanced 4th generation jet that is on top tier almost, that is a 12.3. The only thing that will matter here is the lack of the missiles. So, yeah, you're going to face 11.3s with this thing. So this is one of the best aircraft for you to grind. So although the late model, I think you should think about getting the Eurofighter first, if you are just close to the F-18A, just get it, the first one. Because this thing is going to be a grinding machine. If you don't want to buy the CF-188, and we're going to talk about it, get a talisman on this thing. 12.3 is going to be insane. Of course, already know this because we fly with these F-18s in other nations already. So, yeah. Of course, the engine is the same, but it is producing less power. So, again, it's kind of an upgrade on that engine that it produces the same as the 402 in the late model, but this 72 kilonewtons, so a little bit less. And, of course, uses the APG-65 instead of the 73, of course, right? So this is definitely a must get. And then we have one of the most interesting ones, because this is very much worth it if it wasn't for the price. It would be very much worth it if it wasn't for the price. This is the CF-188, the good old CF-18. This is the Canadian one. It is still an A model, but it's more of a later A model than the Tech 3. Why is that? Because it does have the AIM-7P. You can carry more of them. You still use the AIM-9L. You have way better air-to-ground that I'm going to show to you guys. And it is a 12.7 BR, right? So it is a pretty good aircraft, okay? It doesn't have the helmet, as you see. The cockpit is pretty much the same. But it is a very good aircraft, okay? Very good aircraft. The problem with it, the price. So if you don't want to spend too much money, just get a talisman on the normal way. If you want to spend money, this is the one for you. Okay, this is the expensive one, like $80 or something, vehicle that will make you grind the British Tech 3. I mean, might as well be a Canadian Tech 3, right? But as well, together, right? Kinda. But you get the point, right? So everything else is going to be the same as a normal F-18A, but with the addition of these better missiles, AIM-7Ps. Remember, they are, 12.7, man. They are using, they have data links, okay? And of course, the air-to-ground capability here is much better than the original one. Unfortunately, of course, he has to use the PaveTech, or whatever it's called. the side pod over here that it's on the Sparrow place. So if you're going to do air to ground, you're going to lose one of the missiles because of that. But as you can see right here, guys, you have non-guided, low and high drag, of course. You have the paveways, the normal paveways. You have bigger ones, smaller ones, of course, and you do have your beloved AGMs, right? So the Mavericks. So at the end of the day, it is much better than the older one, but of course worse than the top tier one, or the close to top tier one, right? So very interesting. And if it wasn't the price, this would be very much worth it. The question is, between these two, which is the best? I think the F-18. Okay, 12.7, almost the same BR, buying an F-18 instead of a Bison, right? A MiG-21. The MiG-21 is one of the best premiums you can buy. But don't get me wrong, an F-18 is much better, okay? Especially almost the same BR. If you don't want to spend the money, just get the normal way and put a talisman on it. It's going to be way cheaper. 3,000 golden eagles, that's what? Like, I mean, for me, it's original pricing here, but it's like, man, it's a lot cheaper. It's like a third of the price on the very least. I think even more, maybe, than the Canadian one. So, again, guys, remember that, of course, this one will still use the APG-65, right? And it will still use the normal engine. Okay, so it's very much an A model. So remember, the three ones. The late one, hug upgrade, main difference here, it has the BOL pod, which is great. Less internal countermeasures, but it has the BOL. So very much worth it, but after the Eurofighter. The Eurofighter is still better. Compared to other aircraft, yeah, the Eurofighter is the only one that is better than this. So it's worth it, but after the Eurofighter. The A, best 12 point something BR aircraft in this BR. I mean, 0.3 increase from the Phantom FG1. I mean, come on, it's an F-18. So yeah, amazing. 12.3 BR is insane for this vehicle. And if you put a talisman on it, you can make a makeshift CF-188 for you to grind. And the CF-188, if you have money to spare, yes, it is very good. It is very interesting. But yeah, think about the talisman first. And also, if you are considering between the Bison and the CF-188, then the CF-188 is better. Okay? So this is it, guys. These are my opinions for the F-18s, the British ones. Very cool to see these vehicles. Hopefully we get the Super Hornet in the future in this Tech 3 as well, together with the Americans, of course. So yeah. But anyway, guys, this is it. I hope you enjoyed. Make sure to subscribe, leave a like, leave a comment. And bye. By the way, guys, forgot to mention, I changed the contrast a little bit. It's more default now. Let me know in the comments if you like it or hate it. Honestly, my monitor, I hate it. The contrast one is much better, but some people were complaining that maybe it was too high of a contrast, right? But for my monitor, it's perfect, right? So it depends on the monitor, it depends on many things. But yeah, my monitor doesn't have a lot of contrast. So if I put contrast on, it helps a lot with that, right? So you tell me in the comments what you think. See ya, guys. Bye.